If you can't live for the living, make a little space to make a better place. You the one, making a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. If you can't live for the living, make a little space to make a better place. You the one, making a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. If you can't live for the living, make a little space to make a better place. You the one, making a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. If you can't live for the living, make a little space.
Can you see, oh say, can you see, by the dawn's early light, was so proudly we held at the twilight last gleaming, whose rose dry and bright stars to the perilous fight. Oh, the rivers we watched were so gladly streaming in the Rockies red, the bumpers singing gave birth to the night that the flower was still there. Oh, see the star-spangled banner herewith. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Remember the victims. Not only the suffering, the pain, the fear, but also the chance to unite and healing's about to come. Let's bow our head.
My name is Ita, and I'm a high schooler from Mission San Jose High School. Are you guys ready?
Yes!
Louder! Yes! Alright, let's start with something simple. When I say who belong, you guys will say we belong. Ready? Who belongs?
We belong!
Who belongs?
We belong!
Who belongs?
We belong!
Yeah, that's the spirit. Alright, let's try another one. I'm gonna say love not hate, and you guys will say makes America great. Ready? Love not hate!
Makes America great!
Love not hate!
Makes America great!
Love not hate!
Makes America great!
Alright, was that too easy? Should we try something a little harder? Hey, hey, ho, ho! Asian hate has got to go! Hey, hey, ho, ho! Asian hate has got to go! Hey, hey, ho, ho! Asian hate has got to go! Hey, hey, ho, ho! Asian hate has got to go!
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Yang, for being our MC. Welcome all to the wonderful city of Fremont. Say, great Fremont! Go Fremont! I am the California chair for APAPA, the main organizer for this nationwide rally occurring in more than a dozen cities across the country. Thank you for joining us. The weather is a bit gloomy today, reflecting the status of Asian Americans in America today. I'm hoping that the weather will clear up soon for all of us, both to stay warm as well as for our community. The first Chinese arrived in America in the 1820s, so we've been here 200 years. Think about that, 200 years. By 1880, Asian American was 10% of California's population. But because of the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, the population dwindled until the immigration law changed in 1960s, and also the repeal of Chinese Exclusion Act in 1943. Then the population grew. Today, Asian Americans make up a majority of this city of Fremont. We bring vibrancies, we bring our food to this great city. We learn about each other. We live in harmony. Fremont is an example for America. And I'm so happy that you all joined us here today. Stop AAPI Hate logged 6,600 anti-Asian hate crimes from March 2020 to March 2021. Of that, 800 were physical attacks, assaults, mostly on the elderly and women. The real number, of course, is much higher that people don't report. Well, this is alarming. It is really not new. We simply have not gotten any attention. So how could a model minority that has higher than average income and higher than average education rate actually be discriminated against, right? But the reality is otherwise. But now we finally have the attention of the country. We have our seniors being senselessly attacked, videos in the spotlight everywhere. But this doesn't happen in a vacuum. We have people like Dewan Lim of KGO TV in San Francisco. We have actors Daniel Day Kim, Daniel Wu. We have Congresswoman Grace Mend. We have Senator Mazie Hirono and numerous other prominent Asian Americans to speak for us. So this is what APAPA does. APAPA dedicates itself to put more and more qualified and deserving Asian Americans in prominent leadership positions. So this shouldn't happen again. And when it does happen, we have a say. So when Wen Ho Lee happens again in the future, we will have someone in D.C. to speak for us, to say, well, he's not very likely to be a Chinese spy, is he? The guy's from Taiwan. And next time someone wants to lock us in a concentration camp because of conflict between U.S. and our home country, we will have a fighting chance of defending ourselves against those injustices for us and for our children. We must capture this moment to push for laws, policy, and law changes, including redefinition of hate crime, including more protection for our seniors and our vulnerable. And Friends of Children with Special Needs is here. We have some 50 people here. Raise your hand. Yeah, that's my shirt. I probably wear an FCSN shirt as well as my APAPA hat. So we also want to include the contribution of Asian Americans to America from 200 years ago, from building of the transcontinental railroad to today's technology advancements, so that people will know when their kids go to school, all American children will learn that Asian Americans have been here. We have contributed to the fabric and the growth of this country and the success of America, that we are not forever foreigners like we are viewed always over the 200 years we've been here. We are part of America, and we deserve equal rights like any other American. APAPA is committed to achieve these goals. This rally is not just a rally, it's not the end. It is the beginning of a difficult road forward to push for law changes, for policy changes, and to unite all of us. So we will demand justice for all of us like anybody else. And we will no longer take anything less. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Thank you to all of our brothers and sisters and our neighbors who have come together today to unite and to share our hopes. We were talking earlier about the weather, and sometimes before the darkest moments, before the dawn. And so that's what we have here. We have a moment where we have come together in the past. We've had time for mourning earlier. We have a time for celebrating. But right now, we have a time that we need to be united. We need to come together and recognize that every single person deserves to be safe and respected in our city. We feel that also, especially right now at this moment, I want to make sure that people understand that APIs, while we may be silent and small in the past, we are mighty and we are here to roar. Because we want you to know that we do not tolerate hate, not just for us, but for any part of the community. We believe that all of us deserve respect, and whether how we demonstrate this with a protest, with voices, with elections, is the fact that we need to make our voices heard. And that's what I am so delighted to be able to share with all of you today. We absolutely want people to understand, and we are imploring on our DAs and our fellow electeds and you, our neighbors, that we cannot just sit here and be a bystander and watch things that occur every day. We need, when we see something is wrong and injustice, we need to stand up next to our friends and say, we will not tolerate this. We love our neighbors, and we believe that everyone needs to be respected. And so I thank all of you humbly. I come from the city of brotherly love, from Philadelphia. And whether it's brotherly love, sisterly love, or neighborly love, we stand united together today to say that we want everyone to be safe. And so I know I'm looking at Councilmember Cox. She is one of my favorite signs, if you could hold that up. And it says, Fremont stands united against hate. And that's what we are here today to demonstrate, that we are here to stop Asian hate. And I am so sad and disgusted when I see that people have targeted specifically people that they think are weaker, whether it's women or our seniors or elderly. That is not acceptable. And so we absolutely will stand up, and we have to defend and protect all those who cannot protect themselves, because we have to stand up as our neighbors and do so. So thank you for coming today. I'm delighted to see the turnout. We want more people to step forward and to not be a bystander, be an upstander, and take action today.
The Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition presented to Asian Pacific Islander American Public Affairs Bay Area region to Mr. Henry Yi for organizing the Unity Against Hate and for your persistent dedication to empower Asian and Pacific Islander Americans in the Bay Area, California.
Thank you very much, Hiep. Thanks to our Congressman Khanna to our area. Thank you.
Albert Wang and the APAPA, thank you for leading us off. And Henry and your cohorts, Marvin and Peggy, thank you very much for organizing a wonderful event. I'm proud to stand with all of you today in solidarity against racism, violence, and hate crimes that are being committed here in California and across the nation. These hateful acts are repugnant, they're disgusting, and they're horrifying. And sadly, as other speakers have said, they're not new. Unfortunately, as Asian Americans, you know all too well that our country has this long history of discriminatory actions against people of Asian descent. Now, these actions are rooted in ignorance, hate, and fear. And some people look at their own lives, and for whatever reason, they look and they see, who can I scapegoat? Who can I blame for the inadequacies that I have? And those scapegoats are often those people, you know. Those people made me sick. Those people are taking my job. Those people are bringing crime back into the community. Those people are holding us back. And look around. Those people are us. Those people are black, white, Asian, Latino, Jews, Muslims, Sikh. This is our community. This is the diversity that we call our community. And unless you're Native American, our families came from someplace, Poland, Japan, China, India, wherever. But they're all rooted someplace far away, and they've come to make this place their home. So my message to Asian Americans is, this is your country as much as it's anybody else's country, and this is your home. At the state level, I have denounced the hate crimes against the API community, and we're working to ensure the APIs feel safe and welcome here in California. I look forward to later this week, my colleague Senator Pan has State Concurrent Resolution 42, which proclaims May 18th as AAPI Day Against Bullying and Hate. And why, you say, why May 18th? That's the birthday of Vincent Chan, who was brutally murdered in a hate crime in 1982. That's almost 40 years ago. So the legislature and the Governor Newsom have increased funding to combat anti-Asian violence and racism. And our new Attorney General, Rob Bonta, who I supported in his confirmation, has created the Racial Justice Bureau here in California that's dedicated attorneys in the Department of Justice to fight against these hate crimes, as has been intimated earlier. And as I've said before, I want everybody to have the freedom to be themselves, to embrace and celebrate not only the common bonds that, and values that bring us all together, but also our diversity, the richness that is also to be celebrated. Everyone here knows there's more that unites us than divides us. No child is born with hate in their hearts. It's learned by adults. Through education and dialogue and awareness, we can conquer that hate with, as we heard before, love, compassion, and tolerance. We are a tolerant community. We have to continue to educate those in our community that aren't, and we will not tolerate hate. So thank you all for coming out today, making it such an successful event, and standing united against all these hateful crimes.
It's really great to see so many people out here standing in solidarity against Asian hatred. I'm really heartened, especially by the allies outside of the Asian American community who are standing with us, because it will take a concerted effort together to confront this racism that has existed, unfortunately, since the days that Asian Americans arrived on the shore. I'm Assemblymember Alex Lee, and I have the great honor of representing the citizens of Fremont, and as the youngest Asian American state legislator ever, you know, it's a weird, thank you, it's a weird reminder that every day when I go to the state capitol and I sit at a desk where probably for generations that person who sat at my same desk would be completely disgusted that a young queer Asian American now has that seat. That is the progress that we are making together in diverse California, and that is the progress we must keep fighting for. Because as long as racism persists in all of our systems, in our politics, our judicial system, our schools, our education, we can't hope to get rid of it. And that is my commitment to you, the people of Fremont, the people of California, to continually work that. Because our generation's struggle is encapsulated in what's happening right now. Like my parents or your parents or perhaps your own struggle, when you came to America, you did not envision that after all the struggle, the wars, the famine, the hardship that you came here, that yourself or your children would be subjected to the kind of racism that you thought this would be free of. Because America and California ought to be a land of opportunity, where your skin color, your race, your religion does not determine your life opportunities. And that's not how it ought to be. It should be equal, it should be opportunistic to everyone, and that's what we're fighting for. And in the state legislature with my good friend, State Senator Bob Wieckowski, hopefully we'll be able to pass over $200 million in reinvestments to fight API hate crimes, including new reporting mechanisms, including victim restitution, $200 million that we are prioritizing to make sure the governor puts in his budget. And I'm glad yesterday the governor heard us and he put in some more funding as well to make sure that our voices are heard in the process. Because for too long, that's right. I'll say because for too long, I would just make this to be clear. Asian Americans throughout our history have never been silent. We have just been ignored. And now that we are finally at the table, we are making sure that we will never be ignored again. We are making sure that we are tearing down systems of hatred and embracing ways that we lead with love. Learning that people can change, people are given opportunities to get better, and make sure that we are not repeating the same systems of racism that held us back ever since the railroad days, ever since the gold rush days, and even since the internment camp days. Because we are never ever going back to those days, and under our leadership together as a community, we'll be able to fight that hatred one after another. So thank you so much for rallying today.
Do you know what time it is? It is time to be united against hate. This is why we're here, right? Yes. We are united against hate because we know our communities will succeed. This is dedicated to all that have gone before us and all that are here today. It's a day to reaffirm the American ideals of freedom, unity, justice, and against hate, and make it an opportunity for all. It's a day for love, not hate, for understanding, not anger, for peace, not war. It's a day for family and friends to share together and to reach out and to mend and to unite broken relationships. It's a day when our community rids itself of the hatred, the hate and all that divides us, so that we can come together as one. It's a day for all races, all religions, all classes, all stations of life. Let's put together our differences and fight together for everyone to be equal, to be united against hate. So let's all be drum majors to work in our community together. We're here to serve. We're here to work. We're here to make us all a wonderful, a safe, peace-loving community. Do I have all your support? Let's do it!
Where's the damn DA? We want to hear from the DA. Where's he hiding?
Being here, I honestly, I came by to support. I didn't expect to stand up here and speak to all of you, but I am really honored to be here and stand with so many elected officials from our city, from our county, from our state, from our federal government, to show our support for all of you and for anyone who is a victim of any type of hate. For those of you who don't know me, I spent my career in law enforcement. And so I am very aware of what's going on. I started here in Fremont in 1979. Fremont was a very different place then, but we have grown into what we are today, and that is one of the most diverse cities in this country. And we are proud of that diversity. I always tell people my favorite part of the job is I get to meet people right here in Fremont. I get to meet people from all over the world, and I get to eat their food, which is just amazing. It's always nice going out and meeting new people. It's the best part of my job. Everybody is always so supportive of each other. These times are very, very critical for us, right? Yes. Everybody is needing to stand together, no matter where you're from. Senator Wieckowski said it best. Unless you're an American Indian, we are all immigrants. We all came here from somewhere else. So I am proud to be here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is our motto, Fremont Strong. And we are stronger together when we stand together against hate, against anybody. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for coming this morning to stand united with us against racism. Asian Americans have been watching something spreading even more faster than COVID-19. Widespread hate and discrimination against members of our community. It's been heartbreaking to see our elderly, our sisters being attacked on the streets and living in fear. This is not right. More than a year into the pandemic, the vaccine providing a light at the end of the tunnel, but it seems there's no end in sight for anti-Asian hate. However, the outpouring of support and solidarity from all racial groups, as you can see here today, has been risen up in recent days, giving us every reason to be optimistic. With the energy and cause for change we're seeing right now, we're hopeful that there is a true path forward in ending anti-Asian hate. Yes. APAPA supports grassroots efforts in pushing for legislation to tackle hate crimes and provide support to minority groups. Please encourage citizens in your network to request their representative support of the Federal COVID-19 Hate Crime Act S937, which the House is set to vote on in late May. In nature, yellow is the color of daffodils and sunflowers, signaling the advent of spring, bringing hope, optimism, and enlightenment. In America, however, yellow has been weaponized against Asians as a color of xenophobia. The yellow whistle is a symbol of self-protection and solidarity in our common fight against historical discrimination and anti-Asian violence. The whistle is a simple gadget with a universal purpose: to signal alarm and to call for help. For all Americans, we shall not remain silent because we belong. Yes, thank you so much.
I'm the chair of Human Relations Commission City of Fremont. That's my fellow commissioner Tejinder Dami. We love being the messengers of transition. We love being part of a transition. And just now, I'm not sure if you guys realized or not, our transition happened. Good afternoon, everybody. Not good morning anymore, it's good afternoon. Whenever we have a meeting in the city of Fremont as part of the Human Relations Commission, first thing that we do is read the mission statement for our HRC. And the mission statement that we have is very clear. No discrimination in the city of Fremont. Zero tolerance for that. We are a compassionate city. We enjoy being in a city where we can live, learn, play and work in harmony. And I'm really excited to be part of the leadership who was just out here. You saw the entire city of Fremont leadership who are with us out here. We saw our incoming police chief. He is with us. We have seen that there are so many hate crimes which are happening, and some people tell me that it's been because of COVID. No, it's not because of that. If you read the news, even in 2019, what BBC published, 2019 numbers were higher in decades with hate against Asians. Why are we called Asian Americans? Yes, we have our Asian roots, but we are Americans. We are Americans. We vote out there. Are Asians allowed to vote? No. Americans are allowed to vote. So we are Americans. We talk about the first responders. We say that these are the angels, these are the gods who have been out there helping patients, serving when majority of us were locked down at our houses for our own safety. And let me remind everybody that a lot of these first responders, a lot of these angels belong from Asian roots. City of Fremont, we do not tolerate, we do not accept any discrimination. We do not allow that. And again, I would just like to voice, if you see anything, will you report? Yes. Will you report? Yes. Please, it is very important, because if you do not, they go unnoticed. We get so many numbers and no action is taken. And we, being a very peace-loving community, I'm really proud to be part of here. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, APAPA, for making both of us really proud. And absolutely, anytime, any issues of discrimination, I know that we have our great city council members, our amazing mayor, who are there to help you. Please come visit us in the HRC. Anytime you see, please report, send an email, and we will definitely take action on it. Thank you so much.
This is extremely important. This is how change happens. And like I was introduced, I appreciate that. I am going to be the incoming police chief in a couple of months. And it gives me great honor. Thank you. Thank you. It gives me great honor to know that we have a community that cares. This is important. So to all the distinguished guests, the elected officials, city leadership, and our special community, I am very honored to be here tonight representing the police department. I want to communicate something very clearly. The police department, we stand with you to speak out against hate. I come before you today with mixed emotions. First off, honor and pride to be here, to be asked to come and speak before you today, to be part of a community who can come together and speak in one strong, supportive voice condemning racism and hate. I also am a little sad and disappointed. I'm disappointed that this event must be held in the first place due to select members of our society that harbor feelings of hate and sometimes act on those feelings. So I realize that today, as I speak to all of you, I'm not only speaking to all of you representing what's good in our community, but also those who choose to or may be considering hateful acts. To these individuals, You should know that FPD, your police department, stands firm with our community and will spare no resource to bring persons responsible for hate-related crimes to justice as the law allows. Thank you. As the incoming chief, I will remain committed to continuing on with investigating hate-related crimes and making it and ensuring that it's one of the department's top priorities. Thank you. On behalf of Chief Peterson, who could not be here today, and the men and women of your police department, thank you for taking a stand. Thank you. We will continue to do all we can to support this effort. The announcement on this event states it best for me. We shall not remain silent because you do belong. We all belong. Thank you.
For that introduction. Over the past year, we watched as the Asian American community became a scapegoat for the coronavirus. Fear and confusion offered us up as easy targets. And despite the large Asian American population in the San Francisco Bay Area, 5 Asian-owned businesses were left with shattered glass doors and windows in my local community within a month. This is not a new issue. The struggles Asian Americans in our countries have faced has lasted since the beginning of Asian America. Historical policies portray Asian Americans as the model minority and as the perpetual foreigner. From the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 to the 120,000 Japanese Americans sent to internment camps during World War II, some of whom permanently lost their property and their businesses. The model minority myth masks the variety of Asian American experiences, limiting our immigrants' economic struggles and masking our language barriers. The term Chinese virus, I recognize that it's just another stereotype, rooted in an ugly history of racial and cultural derision. It comes roaring back at a time of social crisis to remark Asian Americans as perpetual foreigners. In such an environment, it's easy to forget that Asian Americans have worked tirelessly for America. Chinese immigrants endured backbreaking labor and uncounted casualties building the Transcontinental Railroad. The 442nd Infantry Regiment, the most decorated military unit in American history, was comprised of Japanese Americans and suffered nearly 10,000 casualties during the Second World War. As we look into the late 20th century, Asian American entrepreneurs have pioneered 21st century technology, paving the way for technological innovation right here in the heart of Silicon Valley. Not only have our immigrants chosen this country for its wealth of opportunities, but we have in turn built new foundations. The discrimination in the marginalized and invisible representation of Asian Americans in our history and culture demands justice. We refuse to be reserved about hate crimes against the AAPI community. The time has come not to cope by covering up hate incidents, but to move forward by breaking the barrier of invisibility that has so long obscured Asian American experiences. Attend Stop Asian Hate rallies like these to advocate on behalf of our community, as members or as allies. Our equality of American identity is granted under the law. It reminds us of our common humanity, our equal status, and our equal rights. However, justice in everyday life to ensure truly inclusive American citizenship for all Americans requires everyone's effort to ensure. We must take ownership and responsibility to define for ourselves what types of changes we want to attain, to move to our rightful place as central contributors to America. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma. I'm a 10-year-old Asian American girl, and I am scared. When my mom told me 6 Asian women have been killed in Atlanta, I was super scared. What if they came to shoot me? I'm Asian. When my mom said we were going to a protest last month, I was scared. What if they came to shoot us? Eventually, my mom convinced me. We can't let them scare us into giving up what is rightfully our rights. Rights to protest. Rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I've been to 3 protests since then. We made signs, we marched, and we chanted. I even gave a short speech. But most importantly, I listened to every word of all the other speeches in order to make sense of what's going on and how to make it a safer place for my family. Although the Atlanta shooting is what captured the national attention, Asian Americans like my family have been living in here since the beginning of the pandemic. As President Trump kept blaming the Chinese virus for his failed public health policies, we felt like we were the living targets with bullseyes on our backs. The nonprofit organization Stop AAPI Hate recorded 3,800 hate incidents against Asian Americans this past year alone. People have been shoved to the ground, beaten on the subway, killed on the street, stabbed in their own home, or even set on fire, simply because they look Asian. It was like watching a train wreck in slow motion while being tied up on the railway in front. The Atlanta shooting was like the worst nightmare coming true. And yet, it keeps getting worse. Sometimes I'm even scared to turn on the news because it seems like every day there are new attacks. And the hardest hit are always the most vulnerable in our community. I'm talking about the elderly, women, and children. I understand the pandemic is hard on everyone. I dread distance learning. I miss musical theater, swimming, and all of my friends. Sometimes I feel like screaming, but I cope. I read and I sing when I'm going out of my mind. I don't blame others, and I certainly won't hurt people, because what good does that do? Hating and hurting others won't fill your bucket. It won't solve your problem. Hurting others won't make you powerful. It just shows you're a bitter coward who can't handle your own emotions. Last week, at a Stop Asian Hate rally in Mountain View, a Sikh girl gave a speech with a unique perspective. She said this kind of attack was nothing new. Right after 9/11, her community was under similar attacks as well, because people thought they were Muslims. Similarly, although the hatred was triggered by the remarks of the Chinese virus, not all victims were Chinese American. Some of them were Burmese American, Korean American, Thai American, or even Latino American. The root cause is racism, pure and simple. As long as racism plagues the country, we could all potentially be the next victim. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. As a Santa Clara County prosecutor said at the Saratoga rally, hate crime is a crime on 3. The victim, the race of the victim, and what I'd like to emphasize today, the American value. In America, we don't treat people differently because they're older, weaker, or look different. This is the land of equality and justice for all. Racism is a disease that is un-American. Please, let's work together to stop Asian hate. Let's work together to stop all hate.
My name is Mahama, and it's a genuine honor to be here today. I look around and I wish there were more black people, and I know that in spirit we are here with you. So I work in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and my biggest hope in this life is that we build inclusive communities. So I'm here as an ally, as an active advocate for the Asian American and Pacific Islander community in Fremont. Yay! So as a black man and an immigrant from Ghana who has lived here for 20 years and as an American citizen, I'm really concerned about the increase in hate against our brothers from the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. I saw a stat recently that said that in San Jose there's been a 150% increase in hate crimes against this group. And I say even one hate crime is too many. So how might we together work and stand up against the bullies, against the people who are dividing us? Because when you look at it as human beings, there's more that unites us than divides us. So how might we get out of our silos? How might we fight our own biases and reach out across to other races, other genders, other identities, knowing that injustice against anybody is injustice against everybody? So my exhortation to all of us, including myself, is let's take the courage to reach out against our neighbors who don't look like us. Let's take the courage to speak up against people who are verbally or physically abused. And as an active ally, I want to encourage you as you look outside from today to reach out to somebody who is not like you, because together we will defeat hate. And with love, we will unlock the best in all of humanity. Thank you so much.
In the universe. I'm asking you to make a dent in the universe. Thank you.
Before